It began on a hillside in Niterói, Brazil, a quiet, windy slope overlooking the Guanabara Bay, where stray dogs roamed and vultures circled lazily in the late summer heat. On the evening of August 20th, 1966, a young boy chasing his kite stumbled upon something strange among the grass and stones. Two bodies, lying side by side. They were men, dressed to the nines in matching gray suits, their black shoes gleaming, and raincoats neatly folded over their chests. But what really caught the boys' attention wasn't just their eerie stillness. It was the bizarre lead masks covering their faces. These thick, hand-cut shields looked like something out of a sci-fi movie, almost like the visors welders wear. The boy dashed off to find help, his heart racing like crazy. When the police finally showed up, things just got stranger. There were absolutely no signs of struggle, no wounds, no blood, nothing at all. As the officers started poking around, they stumbled upon a bizarre collection of items: an empty water bottle to wet towels and a notebook filled with technical notes in Portuguese. But it was one chilling line inside that notebook that sent shivers down their spines, a haunting message that would stick with investigators for years to come. 1630B at the specified location. 1830 ingest capsules, after effect protect metals await signal mask. Seriously, what on earth could that mean? It left everyone scratching their heads, fueling wild theories and endless speculation. The bodies were identified as Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana, two electronics technicians from Campos das Goitacazes, about 200 kilometers away. They were colleagues, quiet, well-educated men in their 30s, known for tinkering with radios and mechanical devices. They weren't criminals or vagrants, just ordinary men who left their families for a business trip and never came home. When police tracked their movements, the mystery deepened. On August 17th, the two men casually told their wives they were heading to São Paulo to grab some electronic parts for their workshop. They had a decent chunk of cash on them, enough to buy what they needed and maybe even splurge a little on some extra supplies. They hopped on a bus, but instead of going to São Paulo, they unexpectedly got off in Niterói. It's wild, right? Witnesses at a local bar spotted them buying bottles of water and raincoats, even though it was a scorching hot day. They seemed super anxious, glancing at their watches like they were racing against time. One bartender even mentioned that Miguel looked really pale, like something heavy was weighing on his mind. By evening, they were seen making their way up Morro do Ventum Hill, the very spot where they would later be found lifeless. And just like that, the trail went cold, leaving everyone wondering what really happened. The autopsy offered no answers. No poison was detected in their systems, though the coroner admitted the equipment at the time was limited. There were no injuries, no burns, no signs of suffocation. The cause of death, undetermined. In the absence of logic, speculation began to spiral. One of their friends, another technician, came forward with a pretty unsettling story that really raised eyebrows. He claimed that the three of them had dabbled in these experiments before, using some bizarre electronic devices that they often set up outdoors. And get this, things would always take a weird turn and end abruptly when a blinding flash appeared out of nowhere. During one of those sessions, Miguel ended up falling violently ill, which freaked everyone out. After that, the friend was like, "No way, I'm out." So, what were they really trying to accomplish that night on the hill? It's just so mysterious, right? Those lead masks. Wow, some folks think they were like this wild protective shield against radiation during what could have been some otherworldly encounters. Can you just picture them, all geared up and ready to make contact with something totally unknown? It's such a mind-boggling thought. Then there's this theory that the two men were duped, like someone lured them there with promises of secret knowledge or cash, only to end their lives. But here's the kicker: no money was missing. Their wallets were still intact, and their valuables were right there in their pockets. And let us not forget about the really bizarre details, the kind that just can't be brushed aside, you know? What were they really up to? The note, the timing. The capsules they were supposed to ingest. Had they taken them? Police never found any trace of pills or containers nearby. But their families confirmed that both men had spoken, in the weeks before their deaths, about scientific experiments and a powerful light they expected to witness soon. One of their friends, another technician, came forward with a pretty unsettling story that really raised eyebrows. He claimed that the three of them had dabbled in these experiments before, using some bizarre electronic devices that they often set up outdoors. And get this, things would always take a weird turn and end abruptly when a blinding flash appeared out of nowhere. During one of those sessions, Miguel ended up falling violently ill, which freaked everyone out. After that, the friend was like, "No way, I'm out." So, what were they really trying to accomplish that night on the hill? It's just so mysterious, right? Some investigators speculated that the men had been testing homemade radio transmitters or energy devices, accidentally exposing themselves to lethal radiation. But that didn't explain the lead masks, crude, unfinished pieces cut from sheets of metal, far too thin to protect from anything dangerous. Nor did it explain why they were lying so neatly, side by side, as if waiting for something. The official police report ended with nothing but question marks. But the people of Niterói, they had their own theories. Locals whispered that the men were victims of a UFO encounter. Some said a glowing disc had been seen hovering over Morro do Ventum that very night, an orange, pulsating light that vanished into the clouds. Newspapers of the time reported strange lights over the bay, and several witnesses came forward claiming to have seen two men followed by a third figure ascending the hill around dusk. The third figure was never identified. By the time the police returned to the site days later to re-examine it, something had changed. The vegetation around where the bodies lay had turned yellow, as if burned by heat or radiation. Yet there was no fire, and then there was the lead. Experts analyzed the masks and determined they were handmade from sheets of industrial lead, cut with tin snips and bent into crude visors, as if the men themselves had made them. But why? Lead masks are commonly used by people working with X-rays or high-frequency equipment, not by radio technicians or hobbyists. The materials were out of place, the purpose unclear. As the investigation went cold, the families of Manuel and Miguel were left with grief and fear. They destroyed the men's remaining notebooks and journals, claiming they were filled with dangerous ideas. One of the widows said her husband had become obsessed with contacting the spirits of Mars. Another said he believed that death was merely a step in the experiment. There was one chilling diary entry found among Miguel's belongings, dated just weeks before his death. "I must fulfill the great mission. My body will sleep, but I will see the light." In the decades that followed, the lead masks case became one of Brazil's most enduring mysteries, part crime, part legend, part cosmic riddle. Journalists revisited it again and again, each time uncovering less than before. Files were lost. Photographs disappeared. Witnesses died. Even now, no one can say for certain what killed those two men on that hill. Maybe it was poison. Maybe it was faith. Faith in something unseen that drove them to self-destruction. Maybe they were scammed, or betrayed, or simply went mad together. But the note, that strange, fragmented message, still echoes through time. Ingest capsules. Protect metals. Await signal. What signal were they waiting for? If it was from the heavens, it never came. Or maybe it did. Maybe whatever they saw on that hill wasn't meant for anyone else to understand. Two men in suits, lead masks over their eyes. A signal that never came, and a mystery that refuses to die.